What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. In life, we all have our own journeys and paths we gotta take to get to wherever you're trying to go. Some people reach for the stars. They might want to be a movie star, a celebrity. Others might just want to be comfortable. So they go to school to be a doctor or lawyer. Either way, it's very important to find your purpose and stay on track. You never judge others for their journey because you never know what circumstances in life led them down that path. But even though you don't judge, it's also very important you stay in your own lane and don't try to swerve. For example, if you are a young man trying to be an engineer and you come from a place where all your friends are street dudes, you have to know you don't have to go down on the block to show them you still have love for them. Because as a wise person once told me, when you are trying to do right around people who are still doing wrong, either one or two things will happen. You will bring them up to your level or fall to theirs. And it's usually you will be the person to fall. We all like to think, I got this. I know who I am and what I'm doing, without realizing the temptation and manipulation out here in these streets. And some places have more of that than others, like jail or prison. Coming from a person that has been of both, you have some of the most intelligent, smart brothers with good hearts who probably just made a bad mistake in there. But you also have master manipulators, predators, and people who like to play mental gymnastics. And as a young man or woman who signs up to work in these places, you have to understand what you are getting yourself into. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Glennville, Georgia, to discuss the case of a woman's relationship with an inmate that came to a fatal end inside the prison she worked at. Back in the summer of 2024, 24-year-old Arion Grace was a young woman just trying to navigate life and do her best. The Georgia girl who had graduated from Statesboro High School years prior had big dreams of being a nurse one day. The mother of two, Arion's main focus was raising her kids, working hard to give them a good life, and what she did. Described as outgoing, strong, the type of woman who wanted to help people, saw the good in everybody, and loved hard. Arion enrolled in nursing school, and for her dreams to come true, she also understood she needed some good income in the meantime to provide for her and her kids. So months prior in January, she started a job. It was a food service company who usually outsourced to different facilities like hospitals and prisons. The young lady would find herself in a total different world than what she was used to, working in the kitchen at the dangerous and notorious Smith State Prison in Glennville, Georgia. Known to house some of the most dangerous inmates in the state, the prison definitely had its problems, from being short on staff, so it seemed the inmates had more control than the guards, contraband issues with stuff getting in, and a lot of gang activity. But to Arion, it was just a job, a means to an end, a way to pay for school and to take care of her kids. Until she met a man, but not one of the guards, an inmate. He was at the time 34-year-old Jay Drius, also a Georgia boy from Carrollton. Jay Drius had caught a manslaughter charge back in 2013, and in 2015, he was found guilty, sentenced to 20 years in prison, and he was serving his time at Smith. The two would see each other in the child hall, and Jay Drius, with nothing but time on his hands, came up with different ways to get Arion's attention, and eventually it paid off, and the two started a secret relationship. Of course, they had to keep it super low, but with so much other things going on inside the prison, it was easy. But the young lady, infatuated with an inmate, didn't know what she was getting herself into. As months went by, their relationship grew, and by the summer of 2024, they were locked in. On June 16th, Arion headed to work as normal. They had to be there super early. Around about 4:30 a.m., to everyone's surprise, gunshots broke the silence of the morning. The shots were coming from the cafeteria where Arion worked at, and prison guards called local police, making a devastating claim. They stated an inmate had a gun and had shot a woman in the kitchen, then himself. When police arrived to the scene, they found Arion and Jay Drius both suffering from gunshot wounds, and unfortunately, both were pronounced gone on the scene. It was chaotic as guards were in shock. An inmate had a gun in the prison, and all was wondering why he targeted the young lady. But Jay Drius had allegedly wrote a letter explaining their relationship. As the prison went on lockdown to try to make sense of the mess and the questions they knew that was coming from the outside, they never notified Arion's family. Instead, inmates who knew the situation went on social media from cell phones, found her page, reached out to her mother, and told her the devastating news. She was heartbroken, but through her pain, local police seemed more interested in searching Arion's home, in which whatever they was looking for, they left in a mess and never found. Her mother spoke out to the news about how the prison and local law enforcement never notified her about the situation. And instead of trying to find out how a gun got into the prison, they was more worried about the relationship her daughter had. She claimed they was deflecting and that the prison failed to protect her. The story, of course, went viral, with people having mixed emotions, and whatever was in Jay Drius' letter was never revealed to the public. Nobody knew why he did what he did. The aftermath for the situation was Arion's mother was left to raise her 1-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter because they lost their mother. She later filed a lawsuit against the prison, but until this day, it's more questions than answers in this case. Either way, rest in peace to Arion. I send my prayers and condolences to her family, her mother, and especially her kids. I know some will think, young, pretty, good job, why waste your time on an inmate? But me being incarcerated before, I know the mindset of an inmate. Yes, you are in a bad situation, but most mentally are the strongest they have ever been, and physically in shape, what some will call a jail glow. If you are not smoking and drinking all the things in the streets to keep you preserved, your gift of gab is on point because you have nothing but time. And a woman who steps foot in any prison, if she is looking for love, or at any point if she is vulnerable, doesn't stand a chance. Quick story, I had a homeboy who I was locked up with. I won't say what jail, but it was one of the jails on Greenmount in my hometown of Baltimore. We will call him Jay. It was a CO who we will call Tiff. Tiff and Jay built a relationship to the point that was really his girl. They was really locked in. Bro would have crashed out over her. He was in love. He was working his moves from the jail and even bought her a car. I say this to say some inmates in some woman's eyes, crazy enough, might seem to have more potential and more to offer than men in the streets. But I want to know y'all thoughts on this situation. Leave it in the comments. And remember, we got to succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, this is a super crazy story. Rest in peace, that young lady. I definitely send my prayers to her family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Out.